First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to activate my Windsor Yellow, but I could also be using a Rollian or any of the primary yellows. You can use any of your primary yellows. And so I'm going to make a nice big rich batch of this Windsor Yellow. The other color I'm planning to use is quinacridone gold. And you can see this color is a rich, rich, beautiful golden yellow. Much darker value than this yellow. So when I use this, I get a darker green. So I'm going to start with the light yellow, throw in the darker yellow, and then I'm going to use Antwerp blue to make my green. First of all, Antwerp blue wants to be green. It's a color that has yellow in it. And it's also a color, you can see as when you look at the cobalt versus the Antwerp, cobalt doesn't get much darker than a value 5. It's not a very good choice to make greens. But this color will go all the way to a value 9. So when I'm looking at creating some nice darks, I always choose Antwerp or Prussian or even phthalo. I have some phthalo blue here. I'll show you that color. Phthalo blue is another color that has strong tinting power, makes beautiful greens. So let's start with our yellow. I always tease my students. I can't believe that there are people who buy green in a tube. I think that's a terrible choice. You should always make your greens from yellow and blue. It just makes so much sense. So you can see now just by taking this yellow, putting my finger at the end of the brush in a downward motion and tapping, I can create these interesting little puddles of color. Now you can see that the color has gone not exactly where my lines were drawn, but you just have to get over it. It's kind of fun just having this randomness. So I'm just happy with these shapes. Now if your shapes get kind of small, then you can just dip your brush in water, and with a little tap of just pure water, you can expand those shapes into a larger size. Here you can see, now I'm going to take and throw some of this golden color close to the edge because I want this side darker, this side facing the light. Now we're ready for the exciting part. I'm going to pick up my Antwerp blue. Notice how I'm holding the brush over where I want it to drop. I have my finger on the end here, and in a downward motion, I'm just going to drop that blue right into the yellow. Now you can't do it like this, where you bang it against another brush or against your finger. What that does is it goes down and it goes everywhere. It's a one-handed operation. So just take the color in a downward motion, tap, 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 tap. And it's amazing. It's like a miracle. At this moment, these guys are getting to know each other. The yellow is turning green. The darker yellow is turning a darker green. And it doesn't happen right away. It takes a few minutes. You have to wait. After I've thrown all the colors down, the yellow, gold, and Antwerp blue, then because I did do some drawing on here with my pen, I do what I call a little coloring book. So I actually come in and make some of these into some of the leaf-like shapes. I just play with them. It's kind of fun. The ones that landed where I didn't plan, I might have to do a little additional drawing, but that's okay too. Now the fun part, as I get to the edges here, what I like to do is melt it out. And so for example, I can take my brush and just simply push the color around to form this lost, melted looking edge. I see I have a little extra paint here. I think I might just lift it right up. If you get a few puddles that are too big, just lift it up.